Hi, everyone. Welcome. And today we're going to talk about mindfulness and meditation. What's the difference? So, the words mindfulness and meditation often seem interchangeable. I know I had a conversation with one of my colleagues about the word meditation, and she was expressing that sometimes it's difficult. People may have negative associations with the word meditation. They may associate it with a religious practice, and sometimes they feel uncomfortable about that word. So, mindfulness is another word that sometimes gets plugged in. Instead of meditation, it's a little bit less, it's more of a secular word, I'll say. They can be used interchangeably, but they do have differences too. And both of these different practices have advantages. So let's talk a little bit about the different terminology. Because they're often used in a similar context, there is confusion about the differences between mindfulness and meditation. That's understandable. But let's examine how mindfulness and meditation are similar and overlapping, yet they're also separate. And I really loved this graphic. It shows the puppy and the adult and what's going on with their mind. In researching this, I encountered some information from author Catherine Ramadi. She's wrote an article for Yoga International, and she talks about debunking two common myths. One, which is mindfulness is not thinking really hard about something. That sounds really stressful. And another myth is meditation is not about shutting down the mind, like an off switch, which sounds kind of boring. And frankly, it's really impossible. But both of these practices are life skills that give us tools to access inner peace, which is already inside of us, right? Both of these rely on the ability to focus entirely on the present moment. And both practices offer a way to increase happiness and decrease suffering. So let's just talk about mindlessness. And I researched this detail by looking at Jon Kabat-Zinn. He has a book, and I'm going to quote him. He says, "When unawareness dominates the mind, all of our decisions and actions are affected. How often have you walked or driven somewhere only to wonder how you got there? Because your mind went on automatic pilot by checking either into the past or the future, both of which we have no control over. In fact, most of the things we do throughout the day are done without full awareness. Eating meals without tasting, showering without noticing the feeling of the water. How many sunsets and smiles have we missed because we're simply compelled to check our phone? Society's obsession with multitasking often leads us to too much at once without focusing on each stage of our experience. We become these walking thumbs checking our phones. I love that graphic too. Now, this is a photo of Jon Kabat-Zinn. He is thought to have brought mindfulness to mainstream medicine. And I researched him on Wikipedia. Um, they noted he was the first. He first introduced meditation. He went to a Zen missionary who came to speak at MIT, where Kabat-Zinn was a student. And then Kabat-Zinn went on to study meditation with other Buddhist teachers. He also studied at the Insight Meditation Society with Jack Kornfield and Joseph Goldstein, and eventually taught there. But in 1979, what this guy did was he founded the Stress Reduction Clinic at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, where he sort of adapted Zen, Hatha Yoga, and Vipassana meditation teachings into what he coined as mindfulness. And, really mindfulness originated from ancient Eastern and Buddhist philosophy and dates back over 2,500 years. But the concept of mindfulness has been inspired by many, and Kabat-Zinn and his colleagues at U of M have been influential at establishing it in Western medicine. And this stress reduction and relaxation program subsequently was renamed and restructured as an 8-week course called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction. And I actually took this course online. I graduated and completed it back in November of 2017. It was 30 hours of continuing education. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But, research that's been done by Kabat-Zinn includes the effect of mindfulness-based stress reduction on psoriasis, pain, anxiety, brain function, and immune system. But first, I want to talk, really, I've looked at many different ways to meditate, and I know about a lot of different ways. But if we narrow the fundamental methods of meditation, there's really only 2 types: open meditation and closed meditation. So we're going to talk about open meditation first. And that is really what mindfulness is. By definition, mindfulness refers to the informal practice of present moment awareness, and it can be applied to any waking situation. So this is what some of you have described as being in your garden weeding and being fully present to the moment. It's a way of being actively aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. And, try focusing completely on the full experience of a usually mindless chore like washing dishes. We can become aware of the temperature of the water, how it makes your skin feel, the texture, the smell of the soap, and engage all 5 senses and see for yourself if you're not actually more relaxed and less stressed when it's all finished. So that's your invitation. Now, mindfulness or awareness is an open meditation. Healthmindinnovations.org talks about this open awareness. So instead of concentrating on something, your attention is open and you remain aware of everything that is happening. So instead of getting caught up in thoughts or feelings during this type of meditation, you just need to be present with whatever's happening. And it looks something like this. You just notice what's happening. To do open monitoring meditation, according to contemplativestudies.org, in this type of meditation, the individual just opens awareness to everything that's being experienced, regardless of its origins. And this includes bodily sensations, external stimuli, and even thoughts. The meditator just observes the thoughts or the sensations, lets them arise, and then fall away without paying them any further attention. So that's how open meditation works. Now, concentrative or closed meditation, let's talk about this. This involves focusing on an object or even an action. I like breath as a point of focus in my practice. Mantra meditation focuses on a sound without really paying attention to its meaning. There's also affirmative meditation, focusing on a word or phrase, paying close attention to its meaning. And then, of course, there's loving kindness or compassion meditation, which focuses on cultivating positive emotions. And then focused awareness uses breath counting or mantra. So meditation is the formal practice of finding peace within. And awareness of peace is achieved when mental chatter is decreased. There are many different ways to meditate. You can choose from guided meditation, focusing on an object, for example, a mantra or sound, an image, a candle, or even the breath. And they all can lead to the same space of inner peace. One teacher explains, even our immune system is strengthened from daily moments of deep, restful awakeness that meditation offers. In addition to being the perfect way to let go of accumulated stress, meditation has many health benefits, including strengthened brain function, increased physical vitality, and better sleep. I liked this quote from the Dalai Lama, that talks about this inner peace. And he says, without this inner peace, no matter how comfortable your life is materially, you may still be worried, disturbed, unhappy because of circumstances. So let's talk about focused awareness meditation, and really the idea of combining the informal and the wakeful practice of daily mindfulness with a formal meditation practice. This is a potent stress management tool, and each practice enhances the effectiveness of the other. While we're meditating, we're mindful of our thoughts from the viewpoint of the observer, without attaching to the thoughts themselves. Our thoughts can float by like clouds while we learn some things about our inner selves. And in this system of meditation, really, breath awareness, step number 4, is the mindfulness piece. So at step 4, when we become aware of our breath without any effort to change it, it pivots and it really uplifts and opens our awareness and our energy fields to really higher vibrational energies. And then, of course, with focused awareness, then we incorporate that last step, which is focus. And, typically with meditation, we close our eyes to eliminate visual distractions and become more aware of this inner world of thoughts, sensations, sound, and energy, while at the same time, being mindful of a silent mantra, for example, so hum. And we also use mindfulness during formal meditation, for example, when we're doing a body scan. Part of the class, the mindfulness-based stress reduction class I took, we did long body scans. I remember one was a 45-minute body scan, which, even as an experienced meditator, was very extended practice. But, keep in mind in this, these last steps here, once we reach a place of relaxation and the awareness and the focus sort of combine, one becomes part of the other. So they do overlap. Mindfulness, which is that awareness, with the concentration or the focus. Okay. So that is a very brief introduction into the differences between mindfulness and meditation. And I'm going to invite you to experience the guided meditation that was hosted by John Kabat-Zinn, and how to rest in awareness. And keep in mind that you are welcome and encouraged to do what works for you. So if at any time during this guided practice, you feel uncomfortable, you can always use your mantra of your choice. You can simply tune into your breath. But I'm going to invite you to experience and explore this guided meditation to expand our sense of awareness. So through our practice of mindfulness, we've been cultivating an awareness that can become more and more stable and vivid. especially the more we practice with intentionality. And this awareness can be either narrow or broad, depending on the circumstance. You can recognize and embrace any and all sensations within the body, including pain, including breath sensations. Can recognize and embrace seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, as well as those activities of the mind that we call thinking and feeling. It can rest in a non-conceptual, direct knowing any or all of these aspects of human experience beyond thinking, without separation or identification. And if we, on occasion, we fall into identification and separation into an object, a me, the objects I'm observing, either inwardly or outwardly, then awareness is capable of recognizing that as well and reestablishing the knowing itself beyond any separation, beyond identification, beyond the personal, beyond I, me, or mind. So the first expansion, if you will, within this framework is to abandon the framework in the same sense that we no longer choose a focus for awareness, but just allow the field of awareness to be boundless. Since awareness actually is and always has been boundless. If you wish, you can close your eyes. We no longer choose a focus for awareness, but allow a field of awareness to be boundless. Since awareness actually is and always has been boundless. So in this moment, resting in awareness, perhaps at first allowing the field of awareness to feature sound, the soundscape, which is something we've experienced over and over. Always here, presenting itself to our ears, compromising everything that presents itself in the form of sound and the spaces between sound. So let's rest in hearing, being the hearing, without creating any distance between you and what is being heard, but simply hearing, being the hearing right now in this moment. Just allowing your awareness to narrow. Notice the sounds as they come and go. Notice the space between any sounds. And then, of course, there are thoughts. that make their way in, letting them be known, because awareness can include the knowing of thoughts. And let's expand our field of awareness wherever you care to include the thoughts and include the air that's touching our skin, the air that is our breath. Resting in the knowing of air and the breath through the sensations of your body. Since it is only through the senses, including mind, that we can know anything. We can naturally allow a field of awareness to include the sensations associated with breathing or the touch of the air on our skin. And then expanding and allowing awareness, any sensations and all sensations in the body right here as we sit. In this moment, the field of awareness expanded. We have sounds and the space between sounds. You have the breath, you have the air, we have sensations in the body. And that's a lot. And it's all happening in this one moment. And it's not separate. Although we can isolate any feature, we can always narrow and just allow one sense. We can also allow it all to be present without separation in this moment. And then rest in the awareness of experiencing it. All of it. Sitting, breathing, feeling, hearing, knowing, and thinking, since it's all going on. So allow the field of awareness to expand even further to include thoughts and the thought stream. Notice the bubbles of thought. And any emotional currents, eddies, whirlpools that may arise in the mind or in the heart. Thoughts, memories, or fantasies. And just allow ourselves to rest in this awareness, this bigger basket that holds it all. Now, in one last jump, let's allow the field of awareness to expand indefinitely, to allow the mind, heart to be boundless, hugely spacious, as big as the sky or space itself, without beginning, without ending, no boundary, no center, no periphery. And rather than focusing on anything in particular, just allow the quality of our awareness to be choiceless. Just rest in the knowing quality of the mind itself, not seeking out anything, not pursuing anything, not rejecting anything, not featuring anything, but like an electromagnetic field that would instantly know any movement, any moment, whatever that would arise within it. In the field of awareness, like a mirror, but many more dimensionals, knows, detects, feels, sees, and senses whatever moves, whatever arises, whatever lingers, whatever dissolves, resting in the spacious quality of awareness itself. If in the next moment, the sensation arises in your lower back, in your shoulder, or in your knee, and predominates the field of awareness for a moment, that is felt, seen, known, and neither pushed away nor pursued. Awareness functions in open, empty, spacious, able to contain anything and needing nothing to complete itself. Like the sun, always shining even when the clouds obscure it. And even if we become irritated or vexed, this boundless, accepting field of awareness embraces irritation and vexation, grief, joy, anything and everything, pain, discomfort, agitation, boredom, depression, sadness. Awareness functions as an open, spacious mirror, able to contain anything and needing nothing to complete itself. Nothing missing, nothing extra. Resting in this choiceless awareness. Thoughts arise. They're met with mindfulness, seen and known in their arising, like bubbles coming off the bottom of a pot. They just arise and burst on their own. No agenda, no preferences, just resting in awareness. Tending all thoughts, motions, coming and going. Resting here. So awareness is always available when we're beyond time, space, liking and disliking, meditating and not meditating. Just the wake of vast open field. Resting here, nothing happening, nothing special. And in the remaining few moments of this practice, if you care to come back to the breath, letting go of the spacious, vast sensation for a moment and feature the breath once again, or feeling the breath in the body, or anything else that you care to focus on, or if you care to simply continue dwelling in this choiceless awareness. Surrendering to whatever arises. And let's begin to shift and conclude this period of formal practice, keeping in mind that this pristine, open spaciousness, heart and mind, is available to you in any and every moment. As we cultivate ongoing awareness in daily life, through the practice of mindfulness. And as you commit yourself to care, it makes sense using the regular discipline of formal mindfulness practice, a commitment that's tantamount to giving yourself over and over again to this adventure of life and to the cultivation of wakefulness. For the sake of being free from the anguish of unnecessary suffering, from afflictive emotions, from ignoring what is most fundamental to life, and for the sake of embracing with loving kindness and compassion and wisdom all beings, including yourself, who are living and breathing and sometimes suffering in this mysterious and awe-inspiring world we find ourselves in. And this meditation was adapted from John Kabat-Zinn's Guided Mindfulness Meditation Series 3. Slowly, gently begin to shift your awareness back to the space around you. Feeling the weight of your body. Deepening your breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes a bit. And I wish you namaste.